What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank you all for joining myself and Dustin for this being our review for 90 Day Fiance before the 90 Days Season 8, Episode 16. Dustin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing the best I can right now. I'm just going through it, but we're getting through it. All
Absolutely.
right.
We're all getting through it, Dustin. We're here with you. A couple things I want y'all to do
Yeah.
before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big white subscribe button. It is free and easy
Mm,
to do. Takes less than a second to mash that thing. So go ahead and mash it for it, brother. Be
mm,
sure to leave a thumbs up for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content I'm putting out on my channel. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the various couples we're discussing on tonight's show. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And last but not least, be sure to share JoJo Speaks with all your family, friends, and loved ones. Let everybody know JoJo Speaks is out here in these YouTube streets.
sweet.
A couple of announcements. I will be releasing my reviews for Married to Medicine. I didn't do a review on the first part of the reunion, so I'm just going to lump the first and second part of the reunion into one review, and that's going to be coming out tomorrow. And I'll also be
Right.
releasing my review for RuPaul's Drag Race. The front runner was eliminated on the most recent episode, so I'll be sure to give you my thoughts on that. If not tomorrow, I'll be releasing that on Wednesday. We got a comment in the comments section. Got Auntie Robin in the building saying good evening.
Good
Ready. Good
evening to Robin.
evening, Robin, to you as well. So let's get into
Mm-hmm.
this. So I want to start out with Emma.
So,
So Emma is ending her time on the show, I'm assuming. She
mm-hmm.
says she wants to do one more thing before she leaves Morocco. And when I saw the back of Ziad's head, I said I knew that it was him. And so I don't know if she wanted to confront him. I don't know what her reasoning was for wanting to meet up with Ziad. I know that she didn't want to try to get back with him because that's not the energy that she was coming with him. But it seemed like
Well,
she wanted an apology from him because she said, there's nothing that you need to apologize about. And Ziad said, what is it that I need to apologize to you for? And she said, well, I think we both have things to apologize for. Ziad did eventually apologize to her. He didn't specify what he was apologizing about, but I don't know if she got what she wanted out of that interaction. But I'm so glad that Ziad did not fall into her trap again. Ziad knows better. He knows how to deal with
mm,
Emma. He doesn't need a woman like Emma. He needs a woman who's going to appreciate him for the man that he is and what he brings to their relationship. I have a feeling that he will be at the tell-all. With him filming her with her on her last day, I have a feeling that he will show up to the tell-all. I don't know if I want him to be
mm,
there or not.
I
I
don't.
I want him to be there to be able
Mm-mm.
to express his feelings of what he felt of Emma and how she treated him. I don't want him to be there because, as we both know, typically the women will gang up on the men on this show. And, regardless of what the woman has done, I don't know if the woman will see Emma's side of the story or see Ziad's side of the story, which I feel as though everyone should see Ziad was right in this situation by breaking up with her. Maybe people
Mm,
may, give him flack for leaving her in the middle of the desert with,
uh,
with nothing to go back to or whatever the case might be. It's up for
mm,
debate whether that was appropriate or not. Me personally, I had no issue with that, but that's because I didn't really care for Emma. Auntie Robin says down here in the comments, Emma cracked me up. I don't know if she cracked me up, but I guess we'll
mm,
find out why. She sought to spin the narrative to make us all believe that Ziad and Muhammad lured her to Morocco. She wants us to believe that she isn't thirsty for attention and engagement. That is so true, Auntie Robin. She is
mm,
thirsty for attention. She wants men to tell her how beautiful she is, how great she looks, how amazing she is, and all this good stuff. Like, no, girl, you got to bring something to the table in order for someone to give you those type of accolades. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that, Auntie Robin. And Auntie Robin has another comment down here. Auntie Robin also says Ziad was kind. Yes, he was very kind because he did not have to meet up with her, and I would not have blamed her if he didn't do it. If he was a ninja from around the way, he would have used her and then dumped her with the quickness. Exactly. But I guess that's very true, Auntie Robin. If she had been with the when she said ninja, she was actually meaning the N word. But for those of you guys who may not have known,
I know.
but you picked up on that, Dustin. Yeah, but it's
Yeah, I picked up on it.
Auntie Robin also says Emma is definitely working hard to be a Kim Kardashian, but believing or behaving clone. That's what she gives off. She does
Yeah.
give off Kim Kardashian a little bit. I'm sure she feels like she's on the same level as far as her beauty is concerned. Emma is a gorgeous woman. Like no one can take that
Mhm.
away from her. She's a very attractive woman, and that's me saying that as a gay man. But your personality and your attitude towards others is going to factor into whether people actually want to deal with you or not. So, Dustin, were you surprised that Ziad actually agreed to meet up with her? And were you surprised that she was expecting an apology from him? Because that's clearly the reason why she wanted to meet up with him.
I mean, I was surprised he even showed up to meet with her. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know why he did that because I'm kind of with you on this situation, John. I'm kind of thinking that he's gonna be at the tell all.
yeah.
Um, what else? What else? Reason why? What else would be the reason to be there? Um, I don't see a reason for him to be at the tell all, but I guess
Me
he thinks
either.
that he needs to be there, but I don't think he does.
Yeah, to me, he doesn't really need to be at the tell all. To be honest, feel as though he said everything he needed to say when he broke up with her. So, me personally, I don't see any reason for him to be there. And he really doesn't need to be vindicated necessarily, because I feel as though the majority of the viewing public will understand the reasoning why he broke up with her the way that he did, and
Mm,
why he does not want to be with her any longer. I mean, I feel as though he's justified in his decision to break up with her, but. Um, so I don't know why he would show up as well. I'm thinking for that reason he may not show up. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether I want him to be there or not.
I don't. Uh-huh.
Yeah. I
The reason why I say that is because I think the other couples might go after him. Personally, I
mhm.
wasn't gonna say. Um, as you and I know, as we covered this show for several years now. You know what I mean. We know what to expect on these tell-alls, and they can get pretty rowdy and pretty side.
Yeah. Auntie
I mean,
Robin also. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dustin.
they can get pretty rowdy on this show sometimes. Well,
They do.
especially on the tell-all.
For sure. Auntie Robin also says, I think Ziad showing up was a good last impression for the audience. I think that as well. And I say, good job for him at least being kind enough to meet up with her.
Hey, Lady
Um,
Virgo.
Hey, Lady Virgo. Lady Virgo's in the building. I think that was a very kind gesture of Ziad, and I think that shows that he's a very kind-hearted young man. And he doesn't have. I don't think he has any ill will towards Emma. I think he's just disappointed in the way that Emma treated him. Lady
Mm-hmm.
Virgo's in the building. Hey, Lady Virgo. Lady Virgo says, "Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you, Lady
Mm-hmm.
Virgo, as well." And then Auntie Robin
Mm-hmm.
says, "I'd want him to show up just to confront." Emma about coming to Morocco with the ring given to her by Muhammad. Yeah, that would be a good thing for him to ask her. Like, why did you show up to Morocco to meet with me and bring your engagement ring in tow? Auntie Robin says hi to Lady Virgo. And
Mm-hmm.
then we have another comment from Lady Virgo, and then we'll move on to our next couple. And Lady Virgo says to JoJo Speaks, Dustin Butler, happy Monday to you guys. Happy Monday to you as well, Lady Virgo. Love you, boo. So yeah, let's go on to our next couple. So the next couple I want to talk about is Forrest and Sheena. So
Mm-hmm.
Forrest and Sheena, they didn't really do much on this episode besides getting their freak on. They had sex for the first time in their relationship. Sheena said that she was losing her virginity as well as Forrest losing his virginity. Um, he said that Sheena kind of took control while they were in the bedroom, which is not surprising to me. I sort of kind of saw the signs of her being not controlling necessarily, but wanting to take control in certain moments of their relationship. And I completely respect that. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
sometimes a little bit attractive for some. So I'm glad that they both enjoyed themselves. And from judging from the preview that we saw for the next episode, Forrest has made the decision to stay in the Philippines. Of course, Forrest's mother is not going to take that news very well. I already can see it from a mile away that she's going to probably blow up in his face, or she could, support his decision. I'm sure she's going to give her reservations for him not staying in the Philippines. But honestly, with us seeing that preview, I think in the first episode that he had made the decision to stay in the Philippines. I saw this coming from a mile away. So I'm happy for Sheena and Forrest. I'm happy that they were able to,
I mean, if they
be
want,
able to.
if they want to be together, they have to do something because he can't go back. He can't afford to have the 90-day fiance visa. So that
Right. Exactly. And to me, that sounds like the best way forward for both of them.
um,
Although we don't really know the specifics of how he'll be able to support himself, how he'll be able to support Sheena if he will actually be able to get a job in the Philippines. Who knows if how that's going to go. Lady Virgo says down in the comments to Auntie Robin, my apologies. I meant to write your name. Happy Monday, Robin. Oh, y'all are so sweet down there in the comments. So yeah, I'm happy that they were able to experience each other in a sexual way. That's always a really important part of every relationship is, see how you guys work out in the bedroom. So
right,
I'm happy that they both had a great time with each other. I've always found them to be the cutest couple on the show. They sort of kind of act like teenagers in love. I love how Sheena refers to Forrest as her love. I love how she refers to him as her teddy bear. I think it's just really, really cute. I don't know if their relationship is going to work out in the end. I'd hope that it would. I just don't know what will be the best way for their relationship to work
mm.
out. But
Do you do you think that Forrest will stay in the Philippines permanently, or do you think they build up the money to come to the United States in the future?
I don't see a way for Sheena to be able to come over to the United States through the 90-day visa because I don't know if I have much faith in Forrest being able to be able to get up enough money for to be able to support her while she's in America. Now, I don't think that Forrest's mother is going to support him staying in the Philippines permanently, but I think it's going to end up being that way at the end of the day. I do think he
Right,
will end up living in the Philippines for the foreseeable future. But those
mhm,
are just my thoughts.
right,
Actually, Robin says down here in the comments, I want Forrest to stay just so that he will have some autonomy from his autonomy from his mom. His mom needs a break too. Yes, that is very, very true. I think it's a good idea for him to stay in the Philippines as well. I feel as though Sheena's mother. I'm sorry. I feel as though Sheena truly does love Forrest and wants the best for him. She clearly, wasn't trying to didn't want to be with Forrest just to get over to America. I feel as though she might have had an idea that he would not be able to support her while she was in America. So I think the both of
mhm,
them sort of, or at least Sheena for that matter, or for that fact, saw this outcome coming. Auntie Robin
mhm,
also says Forrest will continue to receive his disability benefits if he stays. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it probably doesn't matter where you're living. He'll probably will still continue to get his disability benefits, or at least I hope that that is the case for him. And then Auntie Robin also says down there in the comments, and no, he doesn't have to stay in the Philippines permanently. He can travel between the countries. Yes, absolutely. So, what are your thoughts on Sheena and Forrest finally being able to get it on, and his
mhm.
decision to stay in the Philippines, Dustin? If I haven't already asked you.
I think it's the best thing for them to do is to stay in the Philippines. You know, time give them time to be alone and give them time to be away from his mother because I think the mother is a part of. I think the mother is a lot of the issues in the relationship. That's just my opinion. But
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it. But I think it'd be better for them to stay in the Philippines, um, especially for Sheena's sake. Cena's never been to the United States, and there's a lot of things that's different between United States and the Philippines. So I think that's the best thing for them to stay there. But I don't know. I don't know if Forrest is going to go for it for the long haul. That's what he's going. I think it's just for the time being. I don't think it's time. I don't think it's for the long haul. Mm-mm.
You don't think it's like permanent. You just think it's
No.
just for now.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't think it's permanent. No. Mm.
Okay, cool beans. Let's move on to Rick and Trisha.
Yeah.
So the only thing that I really need to say about Rick and Trisha is this whole confrontation between Rick and Trisha's father.
Uh,
Trisha did give him the heads up, saying that her father's not going to let go of the conversation about him wanting kids. So she did warn him, and I'm so glad that she did that, and didn't leave him out in the cold, to be surprised by this conversation. Before we move on, Auntie Robin says down in the comments, also, Forrest hasn't displayed any signs that he is unable to conduct his daily living activities. And that's true. I think Forrest is able to take care of himself. I think Forrest is able to do the things that he needs to do to make sure that both he
sure.
and Sheena are on good terms. So I think that that is a good thing. That bodes well for both of them. But yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
Trisha warns Rick about this conversation, and next thing we know, Trisha's father calls Rick and Trisha into the room, and also, I'm assuming that was another family member that was sitting next to Trisha's father.
Uh,
And Trisha's father asked him, how was your trip? How was your time here in Madagascar? He says it's going well. And then Trisha's father once again wants an answer. He wants a definitive answer on whether he's going to give Trisha a child.
right.
And Rick's answer to that is he hasn't come to that decision just yet, and he's asking for more time. And then Trisha's other family member says, "No, we need an answer right now. We don't need to know about you thinking about it. We need a definitive yes or no." And Rick seems to be a little bit intimidated by Trisha's father and family, and I don't blame him because I would be a little bit intimidated as well. He feels very awkward in this situation. And I honestly feel bad for Rick, and I feel as though I understand why Rick doesn't want to say no, because he doesn't want to disappoint Trisha in front of her father. I think that's a personal conversation that he needs to have with Trisha. I don't think that's a family conversation that needs to be had amongst the entire family. I think that's a personal conversation that needs to be had between Rick and Trisha alone. And we left off without Rick giving an answer. And I'm
Um,
sure he's going to
and
be
I don't.
feel.
I really don't think we're gonna have an answer by the end of the season.
Why do you think that?
I don't think that he's gonna be. I don't think he's gonna say it at the tell all. Mm-mm.
Wow. Because
Mm-mm.
he's said no to us as the audience in his confessional. So, I mean, Trisha's got to be able to see that and understand that he has no interest in having another child. So, I do think by the tell all, Trisha will know his answer. I don't know if he's going to be able to tell Trisha's father that answer. I don't think he'll give her father the answer.
She might see it on she might see it on the taping, but I don't think he's gonna physically say yes or no to her at the tell all.
We'll see. We'll see about that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure because if
Right.
Trisha's watching the same episodes that we're watching, she's got to know because he definitively said he's not interested in having any more children. So
Mm-hmm.
she may still have a question about it, but I don't know how she wouldn't be able to pick up that he doesn't want any kids by just by watching what we've been able to see. But you might be right, Dustin. Who knows?
Right.
She might not have heard a definitive answer from Rick by the time they get to the tell-all. But if she just picks up on the clues of what Rick has been saying all season long, I don't know how she would not know that he does not want kids. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, I kept falling asleep on their story, but was in the previews for next week. Or did Trisha tell Rick that they wanted babies? And then Auntie Robin also says down here in the comments, I told y'all last week that Trisha wants to be a mom. Yes, she does, and she did say that it was really important for her as well. And then Auntie Robin also says, Dustin, do you agree? This ain't gonna last. If she isn't deep in love, I can tell her what to do.
Oh,
Him until the next man comes along. Yeah, if Trisha wants to have children, she has to separate herself from Rick. She has to. Rick doesn't want any more kids, and I
yeah, I don't
understand this.
think.
And I know that's going to be a difficult decision for her to make because I do feel as though she is in love with Rick, but she's got to be able to make a decision as to, if she's going to stay with Rick, she's got to understand that she's not going to have any kids with him.
I don't
Um,
think she. I don't think she's gonna. I don't think she's gonna. I don't think it's gonna last. Mm-mm,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If Rick does not give
Sorry, I
in
gotta bum
to
my
her
nose.
request for a child, she's eventually going to break up with him somewhere along the line because it's clearly very important to her to have a child. So, it's I love them as a couple. I don't know how true their love is, or at least on Rick's side, that is. But we'll see what happens with them in the coming episodes. So
Oh,
let's move on to who do I want to
mm-hmm.
do next? Who do I want to do next? Let's go with Aviva and Stig.
So,
So this is a couple that I've kind of been on the fence about.
so have I.
I started not to like Aviva when she brought her aunt into the situation, and then as well as the friend of this woman that Stig was in a picture with. But things ended off on a good note with Aviva and Stig. He takes her out to some Mayan ruins of sorts, and once I saw them in this beautiful place, I saw what was coming a mile away. I said, I know he's going to propose. And Stig actually did propose to Aviva. But before this happened, though, Aviva did take a pregnancy test. She did take a pregnancy test. And in the previews, she said, oh my God, and, making us think that she was actually pregnant. Now, Stig, to Aviva's face, was saying that he would be excited to have a boy. Aviva said that she also wanted to have a boy. Stig said he didn't want to have a girl so that his past doesn't catch up with him, which I completely understand. That he doesn't want his doesn't want his little girl to be running around like a trollop or anything like that. But I'm very happy for Aviva and Stig. I'm hoping that Aviva only brought her aunt onto the show just to drum up a little bit of drama for their storyline. Because I do think that Aviva does love Stig, and I do think that she does care about him. I haven't seen too many red flags as far as Stig and Aviva are concerned, besides Aviva's auntie being in the picture. And I'm hoping that Aviva's family, the rest of Aviva's family, isn't just like Aviva's aunt, because Aviva's aunt clearly does not like the thought of Stig and Aviva being together. Auntie Robin says down here in the comments, Rick might have the same syndrome uh, that what's her name is with her friend Michael. Okay, Laura. He is loving that Trisha expresses her desire for him. It's an ego boost. Yes, it is. Trisha's always telling Rick how much she likes to be around him and how much she enjoys him. If it were me, I'd be talking about Rick's body all day long. Rick has a
I would too.
beautiful body. Yeah, you too, Dustin. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be bringing up his body. For those of y'all who don't know my type, I love me a thick man. Although I don't necessarily have like one type, I do enjoy men that have a little meat on their bones. I don't care necessarily for the skinny dudes. Not that I would turn one away if he were to approach me, but I would prefer to be with a thicker man. But I'll take on anyone who is interested, or maybe not anyone. I have to be attracted to you as well. But anyways, Auntie Robin says down in the comments, the engagement shocked me. Shocked me, say. Yeah, it before it happened, I was hoping that he wouldn't propose to her because he just told her that he loved her a couple of days prior to him proposing to her. So for me, that's if you're just getting to that point to saying that you love them, I think there has to be a little bit more time in between you telling them you love them, as compared to the time that you propose. But I guess it might work out for them. Dustin, were you surprised that Stig proposed, and were you surprised that Aviva wasn't pregnant?
I was expecting her to be pregnant, but was I surprised that he proposed to her that quick? Uh, Kind of 50-50. I kind of expected it, but also I
Okay.
didn't kind of. I kind of also was hoping for that wasn't gonna propose that soon. Um,
Mm, I was hoping
I
that too.
I was expecting for him to allow more time. before you throw the proposal word out to somebody. That's just how I am. So I expect, because I expect to take a while to get used to somebody. So
Right.
uh, that's not my pace. My pace is a slow pace, especially when you're getting to meet when you get to meet somebody. It's gonna change your whole entire life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have another comment down here by Auntie Robin. Auntie Robin also says, "Me too, Joe Nathan. I was trolling Facebook today and saw an old boyfriend. Oh, I saw an old boyfriend when we were together. He was stick thin. He done filled out now. Okay, Auntie Robin, you got your eyes on the man. Yeah, I love me a thick man. Like football player type build is my favorite. My favorite. And also because they typically have a bigger backside, and I love me some backside. Lord have mercy. Anyways, so yeah, I'm glad you and me are on the same page, Auntie Robin. Yes, I
So
love
am I.
me.
I'm the same way. So
Oh, you like a thick one too? Okay.
yeah.
And you got a little bit more to hold on to as well, especially when you're cuddling. Like oh Lord, let me not get too far into that. I might slide right
hmm
off this chair. Anyways, uh,
I do have a when we get to the end of it, I have an update on the Savannah New Guffer case. So yeah, when we get to the end, I'll
okay,
say that for the end of the term.
okay, cool beans. Let's
Uh,
move on to Daniel and Lisa. So Daniel and Lisa are going to meet with the high priest for a cleansing. The Daniel's uncle said that they need a cleansing to be able to move forward with a marriage of sorts.
right.
So they have to buy a goat. They have to buy yams. Lisa's being very picky with what they buy because I guess maybe she's low on money. She's trying to negotiate pricing for the goat that they buy. She said that she's not paying this price. Apparently American dollars go a long way in Nigeria because they were talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in Nigerian money, which is only turns out to be a couple $100s in American money. So at least that's a good thing. So they get to this cleansing ceremony. Daniel tells the high priest what Lisa has done in order for them to have a cleansing. When he saw it in the preview, there was a lot of yelling and screaming, and so I thought that they were actually doing something to Lisa. But thankfully, it was only the high priest that was doing a lot of the yelling. And something that made my right eyebrow perk up is a high priest asking for the money. I don't know why you need money for a cleansing. That doesn't make much sense to me because
A red flag.
right, because to me that just means that you are scamming people out of their good earned money for you to quote give them a cleansing. Now, me personally, of my Christian belief, I don't see any point in going through a cleansing. But of course, in Nigerian culture, that's a part of their culture, so that's just what they do. You won't get me to be giving you money to cleanse me for nothing. I'm not doing that whatsoever. If my partner wants to do that, so be it. But you ain't gonna be having me to pay you to cleanse me. Like, thankfully, God,
Mm,
God the Father, cleanses us from all unrighteousness just by the fact that He sent His Son down to sacrifice His life for us. Lady Virgo
mhm.
says down in the comments, yeah, Jojo, you like to have something to hold on to, huh? Yes, absolutely, Lady Virgo. That's how I like them. I like to have something to hold on to, honey. Okay, like something to grip on real hard. Don't get me started, Lady Virgo, because me and Lady Virgo like to talk about the spicy stuff, honey. But anyways, Auntie Robin says down there in the comments, uh, confession. I have difficulty suspending suspending true reality when I watch this show. Okay, I find the antics that involve alleged of African rituals offensive. I agree with that as well. It seems like they frame it to make it seem as though it's crazy that these people do these things in these other countries. I don't like the way that narrative is pushed either. Um,
I don't know.
um, uh, bordering um, bordering on blasphemy. Yeah, they done took it too far. Yeah, I don't like the way that they do that as well. I feel like they kind of exaggerate it to make it seem like it's crazier than it really is. Like I do understand that different countries have different traditions, so I can respect that. But I have a feeling that the majority of people that watch this show are probably Caucasian, and when they see these types of things, they'll probably think, "Oh, this is crazy! I would never do that." That's the way Lisa was talking about it. Like I've never seen a priest like this, and Lisa was so surprised at the way that the man kept yelling, and he was sort of kind of throwing things around, and he had this kind of sinister laugh that he was giving as well. Like it was very weird to me, and I get that people who would watch this would probably see it as weird as well. I respect it as African tradition, and I respect that people do that for their tradition. It's just that I'm not going to participate in those things like that because I have a God that I pray to, and there's no need for me to do that myself. Auntie Robin says, and that nonsense aired at the open of Holy Week. Wow, yeah, yeah, because I think Palm Sunday is coming up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Um,
next Sunday.
yeah, Lady Virgo says none whatsoever. None whatsoever. Red flag. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, ooh, let's see here. Also, Lady Virgo has another comment down here. Lady Virgo also says, "We sure do, Jojo. Absolutely, absolutely." See, I don't like to talk about my personal romantic or sex life on YouTube, but I do love the subject itself. The subject is awesome to me. Let's see here, and then Auntie Robin has another comment down here. Auntie Robin also says, Palm Sunday was yesterday. Ooh, Lord. I was off on that. Yeah, thank you so much for
But
correcting.
ain't next Sunday Easter? Is that
Yeah, I
right?
think
Next
next
Sunday.
Sunday is Easter. I do believe next Sunday
Okay.
is Easter. Um, but the high priest says that they are cleansed. Lisa actually asked the high priest, "Are we cleansed now?" It sounded like she wanted to get the hell on out of there. But he says that they are cleansed. Then Daniel and Lisa proceed to starting to make out as soon as they get in the car. I turned my head. I don't want to see Daniel and Lisa kissing. I'm sorry, that's it's not offensive to me. It's just hard for me to watch. It's really hard for me to watch. And the funny part about it is I'm really not that attracted to Daniel. Honestly, like he has a beautiful body. Don't get me wrong. Like from the neck down, he has a beautiful body. But a lot of times he bugs his eyes out and he makes certain facial expressions that are not that attractive to me. But it's still hard for me to watch an older woman kissing a younger man. It's easier for me to watch an older man kissing a younger woman, but older women kissing younger, it's just hard for me to get through. Um,
Mhm.
there's another comment from Lady Virgo down here, and then we'll get to you, Dustin.
Sure.
Lady Virgo says down here in the comments, when you guys saying Palm Sunday was yesterday, what you guys are saying that Palm Sunday was yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Until it was yesterday, Lady Virgo. And my pastor said that the other Sunday too. I don't know why I forgot. And then Lady Virgo says down here in the comments, oh, yeah, yeah. She says art. She corrected herself. So Dustin, what were your thoughts on the whole cleansing ceremony? And do you think that Lisa and Daniel will eventually get married? Because I have a feeling it's actually not going to happen.
I don't think they're gonna get married.
Okay.
I don't think they're gonna get married because you and I are always on the same page with these couples, and as you know, we always are. Sometimes we don't agree with things, but most of the time we do.
Yeah.
But it's like we don't. I don't see it lasting. I've been saying this from episode one of this season, and I don't feel like. I think that Daniel deserves better. To be honest, Daniel don't. She don't.
Agreed.
He did. He don't deserve to be have to change his whole entire way he is just because of the way she is, and that's
Right.
just my opinion.
Hmm.
You don't have to. Yes, you might love somebody, but when you don't meet, when you're not on the same page, Jonathan, you have to be on the same page in order to get married. That's just my opinion. And if you're not on the same page, then why be miserable? Because your life is already too short anyway. Your life
That's very
is
true.
your life is very short on this earth. So why is it the way it is? Why do you have to make yourself miserable for the rest of your life? and you're not even compatible. Because if you ask me, Lisa and Daniel are not very compatible. That's
Hmm,
just my opinion. They're not compatible. They're not
I agree.
compatible. They're not compatible to be with each other.
They're two completely different people. I don't know if they, I don't think they have anything in common at all, which is crazy to me. Like, if I'm going to be with someone for the rest of my life, we've got to have some things in common. First of all, we got to be friends. That's the first thing. Like, I got to be best friends with my man. And, if we've got nothing, if we have nothing in common, then what the hell are we going to talk about? So,
Uh,
it is what it is. I personally don't think that they're actually going to get married. Um, if they do, so be it. But they seem to be on good terms. It was
mm,
surprising to me that, maybe it shouldn't have been surprising to me that Daniel was able to let go of the things that Lisa had kept from him.
right.
It seemed like he's completely forgiven her, and that further leads me to believe that he just wants to get over to America. That's just what I'm
He wants the
thinking.
green card.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. And if that's what he wants, he's going to do anything that he needs to do to get there. I saw on an Instagram post a couple weeks ago that Michael got divorced from Angela, and I don't
Yes,
know
he
if
did.
I don't know if he's living in America now. But
Yes, he is. He lives in America now.
okay, so I'm happy for Michael to be free from that woman.
Yeah, I was gonna
Um,
keep you updated. I was gonna keep you updated last week, but I forgot about that situation.
it's okay, it's totally
Yeah.
fine. Let's move on to our last couple, Joshua and Elise.
Yes.
So Elise showed her ass on this episode.
As they always does.
Right. Joshua took her out on a boat, on one of the boats that he works on. And she's asking him, well, she wants some clarity on the incident, where he took his friends out on one of the boats that he was supposed to be selling and crashed it. Apparently, he originally told her that there was over $50,000 worth of damage done to the boat, and then he said that the damage wasn't as much as he initially thought it was. And he actually ended up selling another boat, and he wasn't able to take any commission off of that. The commission for that was put into repair the damage that he'd done,
Mhm.
to that other boat. Auntie Robin says they may not be compatible. That's not important, and this isn't for life. It's for coming to America, exactly. And that's the thing about Daniel. Daniel doesn't care if he has anything in common with Lisa. He just wants to get over to America. That is his only intention. That seems to be, at least to me, his only intention in being with Lisa is to get over to America. So when you're not compatible, that doesn't matter at all. Does not matter whatsoever. Auntie Robin
Mhm.
also says down here in the comments, happy for Michael, except on one of her one of her first trips to Africa, Michael waved the American flag and cheered for Donald Trump. Yikes. Well, I'm sure she told him to do that. I'm sure he probably had no idea who Donald Trump was, what any of his policies were, or anything of that nature. So, I'm sure
Well, he does
that
have
was
it.
the case with that.
Michael does have a special coming out on Netflix. It's called
Really?
Surviving Angela.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. I had no idea that was taking place. I'm not
It's
sure if I'd
filming.
want I'm not
It,
sure if I
it,
want to watch it myself, but it is what it
it
is.
it's filming now.
Okay, okay, cool beans.
Um,
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of people that will want to watch that because Angela has been uh so effective with the way that she treats Michael and the way that she presents herself on national TV. She's definitely
mhm.
a wild card for sure. But yeah, so Joshua tells. Well, before I move on with Joshua and Elise, let's get back to these comments.
So,
Auntie Robin says Daniel is in my funky Dineva voice, doing prostitution. That's what it kind of seems like. At the end of the day, that's pretty much what it is. He's selling his body to get over to America. Auntie Robin also says, when does that drop, Dustin? Do you know when that drops, Dustin? Michael's documentary.
they said it could drop at least until like the end of May or maybe July.
Oh, okay. By the end of May or maybe July, Auntie Robin. And then Elise will not let go of Joshua living with this friend of his. And she said that she had let it go, but Joshua was like, it doesn't seem like you've let it go. And then Joshua says, why don't we meet up with her for dinner and let's talk it out and, see where it goes from there. So they meet with Joshua's friend at this place, and Elise is pushing this narrative that this woman is supporting Joshua financially, and that's what she can't let go of. And Joshua and his friend continuously tell Elise that she is not supporting him financially. He has a job, he's not paying rent. And so if he doesn't have to pay rent, then why would she need to be supporting him financially? Like, that makes zero sense to me whatsoever. Going
Mhm.
into this, I was really liking Elise. I love her personality. I think she has a cute personality, but when she goes off the board, it's cringy to watch. Lady Virgo says, "Say what? Oh wow, that's going to be a must-watch TV. It will be. I'm sure. Like I said, a lot of people will want to watch Michael's part of the story as far as having to deal with Angela is concerned. And so Elise proceeds to get up out of her seat and start asking random people, "Do you think it's weird for my boyfriend to be living with this other woman and to be financially supported by her?" Which, once again, Joshua and his friend have continuously told Elise that she is not financially supporting him, but Elise cannot get that through her
At
brain.
least at least don't understand it.
She doesn't. And it's clear
Mm-mm.
that Elise has very, very large insecurities when it comes to her being in a relationship. And that is such a turn off. Like,
That's that's a red flag.
it's one thing to be a little bit jealous, but to be insecure about the situation, that takes it into a whole nother level. And I can't
Uh,
get with that whatsoever. And it seems as though Joshua wants to break up with Elise. I don't think that he actually will. I think he's going to put up with it. I have a feeling that Elise is just putting on this act for the cameras, or at least I hope that is what she's doing. Because as we've seen in seasons past with 90 Day Fiance, this is the type of woman that we typically see on this show. So, Dustin, were
mm.
you surprised to see Elise act the way that she did in that bar? And do you think Joshua is going to break up with Elise?
I hope he does because that's not that is not in my book. That is not acceptable in my book, Jonathan. I don't agree with that.
Hmm.
For her to act the way she did in public, in a bar like that, that is ridiculous. And I don't think I would be able to ever forgive her for that, to be honest. Because if you're with somebody, if you, I look at it this way, Jonathan. If somebody was with me, if I was with somebody, I'm not, I'm not, but if I was with somebody, on a permanent bad level to every day, 7 days a week, that would be, you're not only you're not only making your beliefs known, but you're making my beliefs known. So if you're talking about if you're messing up in a bar, if you was with me, then I would not handle it. I would not like that because, like I said, if you're with me and myself and my own, I don't take that. I wouldn't accept that. And that's a little bit across the bar for me, Jonathan. And
Hmm.
that might be different for you, but I don't accept it. And if I don't accept it, then I don't want nobody doing that, especially if it's on my dime as well.
Right.
If you know, mm-hmm.
Yeah, Auntie
But
Robin says down there in the comments, it does seem like an act for the cameras. It does, and it has to be exhausting for Josh. It does. Maybe she and Emma need to buddy up because they seem to both like the attention. I would agree with that. All season long, Elise has been wearing these tops that are like straps that are only covering her boobs, but her midriff is showing, and she gets into the bar and she has these warming pads and she's like, "I'm cold." Well, if you put some clothes on, girl, maybe it wouldn't be as cold. Like, come on. Like, at least
yeah, wear some clothes like everybody else does. Don't go
it,
wear don't go don't go around half naked. In my opinion, you're going around in public wearing hardly any clothes.
right. And it's like, it's almost like she's been wearing a bathing suit the entire time that she's been in Australia. It's like, you know,
But
just do better.
she was doing the same thing when she was on Hunt for Love.
I don't even remember what she was
Uh,
wearing on Hunt for Love, but it wouldn't surprise me if she was doing the same thing during Hunt for Love. I mean, but to me, that just screams to me someone wanting attention. She just wants to be seen. She wants to be looked at. She wants to be awed. Auntie Robin also says down in the comments, no, those tops are exposing massive underboob. Exactly. Exactly. And that's what she wants the men to see. She wants them to see her under boob. I've seen tops like that before. Actually, I remember a designer on Project Runway making a top that was similar to that. I think his name was Bishme. Not Bishme. It was who was it? I can't remember what his name was, but he was a black guy from Haiti. He had dreadlocks, but he actually made a top like that on the 20th
I know
season of Project Runway.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his name.
His name is Project. That's his name, Project.
Project.
Project. He was
Hmm.
one of my favorites. 20. I think the 20th season of Project One Way is my favorite season of all time, to be honest. But yeah, I hope that Joshua, just like you, Dustin, I hope that Joshua breaks up with Elise, but I honestly don't see it happening. But Elisa's just got to get over her insecurities. She really does.
Right.
Because if you look at Joshua's friend, and this is no shade to her at all, I don't think that Joshua's friend would be his type. Because if he's with a woman like Elise, Elise and Joshua's friend look nothing alike whatsoever. So I don't know why Elise would think. Like, I understand that that question might come up in your mind, but after your man gives you the assurance that there is nothing going on, you have to take his word for it. And if you're not going to take his word for it, then just leave the man. Like, if you
Right.
continuously thinking that Joshua is doing something sexually or emotionally with this woman, why are you still with him when he's told you over and over and over again that nothing is happening between them? You've got to make the decision to leave, because you can't be with me and you're continuously going through this rigmarole with us, with your thoughts of us having something going on. Because if you can't let go of that, I'm letting go of you. And that's why I'm hoping that Joshua does break up with Elise.
You
So
too.
that's the end of this review, Dustin. So what is the information you wanted to tell us on the Savannah Guthrie case?
Well, Savannah Guthrie is returning back to the TV. So I don't expect that. I didn't expect that. So I don't think that she's going to be back there for the full time. But I didn't expect her to return back to TV at all. Mm-mm.
That's awesome
So
news. So she's returning to the Today Show.
on April 6th, returning to the. But
Oh,
I didn't expect her to. But honestly, I think that they're starting to realize that she's no longer with us. To be honest,
yeah,
and I think they know that she's in a better place. At least I hope they know she is, because I think she's there. I think that they're not gonna. I think the situation is pretty much gonna be at the end of the situation. Hope I don't know, but I don't think that she realizes that her life has to move on, and I think that we're not gonna have the same. It's not gonna be the same Savannah Guthrie, because it's changed her whole life. You know what I mean? But honestly, I'll be interested to see how it goes. But I can't believe she's returning back to TV after all that. Because if it was me, I don't think I would be able to return back to TV.
yeah. I'm happy that she's at least gotten to a place to where she can return to TV. It'll be interesting to see how she's able to deal with it. Auntie Robin
Hmm.
says down in the comments, Jonathan, on Thursday's show, can we talk? Can we talk about Top Chef, Next Level Chef, Tournament of Champions, and the Padma Lakshmi competition on CBS? Excuse me. So, Auntie Robin, I am watching Top Chef. I haven't been watching Next Level Chef, so I'll have to get back on that. I did see one episode of Next Level Chef, and it wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, but I don't mind watching it again. I did see the first episode of that Tournament of Champions chef show with Padma, and that's really not my cup of tea either. But I can watch it, at least for you. So yeah, I'll put that in my notes so that we can talk about that on Thursday for sure. Auntie Robin also
Hmm.
says down in the comments she has to return, Dustin, talking about Savannah Guthrie. And then Auntie Robin has one more comment here, and then we're going to go ahead and get out of
I
here.
think I think the reason why she's returning, I think it's contractual.
Okay.
I think the network is pushing her to return, which
Yeah,
I don't which
that
I
could
don't
be the case.
which I don't think is right in my opinion. Mm.
Auntie Robin also says this is life changing, but Savannah is alive. She needs to live. Absolutely, you cannot allow grief to stunt your growth. You have to be able to deal with the grief as you move forward. And I think that's
Yeah.
a good bit of advice. So Dustin, why don't you give the good old folks watching your social media context real quick?
My social media contacts are Dustin Butler. Dustin Butler 700, my Instagram, my Facebook is Dustin Butler, and also my TikTok is Dustin Butler 24.
Cool
So
beans. Thank you so much,
yeah,
Dustin. You guys can
yeah,
follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $ Jonathan Lee 07. That's $ JONATHANLEE 07. Thank you all so much for joining myself and Dustin for this review. Once again, be on the lookout for my Married to Medicine review, as well as my RuPaul's Drag Race reviews coming out this week. Auntie Robin, I promise you, I will talk about at least one of those shows. More than likely, Top Chef on Thursday. I just have to make sure to leave it in my notes so that I remember to talk about it.
yeah.
And I might bring up the one of the other shows as well. But yeah, I thank
Hmm.
y'all so much for watching. Be sure to join me on Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my live hot topics and social commentary show. I go live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. with my sister, Prophetic Fire Reiki, as well as our friend Bianca Edwards. Our show last week was awesome. I'm expecting our show this week to be awesome as well. So be sure to join us on Thursday night at 8 p.m. Love you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, y'all.
See you guys on the